half a day, and welcome to the Chamber Member Spotlight Podcast, where we feature one of our many small business members. As many of us are aware, small businesses are the backbone to any community. They provide much needed services and products, employ our residents, pay taxes, and give back to our community in a number of ways. We're so glad you joined us. We know you will enjoy this episode. My name is Catherine Castro, your host for the Chamber Member Spotlight Podcast. Let's get started, shall we? Our featured guest is Guam Chamber member Slingstone Coffee and Tea, represented today by Pedro Walls. Pedro, half a day and welcome. I'm excited to sit with you.
Me too. I'm excited.
All right. And so you know what? I'd love to share you with our listening audience. So we'll just go ahead and get started. Tell us a little bit about how you got started and what led to the creation of Slingstone Coffee and Tea.
That's a really cool story. I like it because it really worked out well with Guam. I didn't know this at the time. Guam's flag has the slingstone as its main icon, right? And I came to Guam with the slingshot, and my slingshot was in 2000. I came here and I asked some local officials, can I do this? And they're like, I don't see why not. And so that's how my business started. That was my introduction to Guam. And after being here for about a year, I started to realize that, hey, we got this slingshot business. This is really great, and the branding worked really well, and the tourists were really into it, and it was great too that locals could really participate in that. And then I just thought slingshot, and then I got involved with the national rugby teams and different sport associations, and the more I got involved, I was like, that's our flag. That's our flag right there, and that's so cool. That's a slingstone. So. In 2004, we actually set up a company called Slingstone LLC. We had no idea what it was going to do, but I just thought, it's 2004, this was 2 years after Pong Song Hwa. We'd just rebuilt ourselves after being wiped out from Pong Song Hwa, and I was like, wow, this is an opportunity. You know, we bought some real estate and said, let's just go all in. You know, this is it. The Guam's going to be our home. I met my lovely wife at that time. She was working at the hotels and managing and doing landscape architect. So she helped us rebuild again, and it was a real team effort. So I said, I better marry this girl. and then we set up Slingstone LLC. No, as I say, no idea. Didn't know what it was supposed to do, but we thought there's a place somewhere for this Slingstone concept. Let's find out what it is. And so that's kind of the introduction to Guam and our concept. Yeah.
Wonderful. So how did you know that it was the right time for your brand to have coffee and tea? So, we've had, coffee shops here in Guam. And, people have talked about national brands,
yes,
right? But you have created Slingstone Coffee and Tea. What made you decide to do that? You already had a successful business.
Right? Yeah, that's true. So we were in Tumon, and we did have that successful business. I think our first branch out though was with Green Lizard, which everyone knows as a bar and grill, and it's open at night, and we have a lot of young people come there. It's a great time. But originally we thought that was going to be a cafe. That was the concept. That's actually built on 2 containers. It's a 40-foot container and a 20-foot container. I got Willie Flores, who was the engineer that did the Parley San Vittore's design and engineering, and he built it. And I said, Willie, this thing's got to handle 200-mile-an-hour winds. And he's like, okay. And then I said, it's probably got to handle 5,000 sailors on an aircraft carrier when it comes as well. So we did that. So originally it was supposed to be a cafe. And it didn't work, unfortunately. Like some businesses, they work, and some businesses don't work. And that was a fail on the cafe side, but it turned out to be a great bar and grill. So we ran with that. So that was just built in 2011, and the idea behind that was Slingstone LLC.
Okay.
That's when Slingstone came into effect, and I was still trying to tie the things together. We called it Green Lizard because as we were building it, there was a huge halitai that was living in the back, came out, scared the pants off our contractors.
Sure.
And we seen it when we built Slingshot, and we saw it then, and my wife saw it because she lived at Pia Resorts. And so there's a lot of, you know, things that tied together. I think I like stories like that tie things together. It just makes you feel like, okay, my business is on this right track, you know, even if it seems wrong, and we were wrong in the beginning, but we sort of came back to the right track. So the Slingstone coffee concept came up about 5 years later because we love coffee. We traveled during that time, and actually at that time our kids were born. So we were like, okay, let's, you know, they're island boys, and let's do something that we can enjoy our kids with rather than just being out late all night. So that's where the coffee concept came from.
Fantastic. I love it. And I think that, you know, your, the concept of the facilities themselves are very unique. Right. What made you, so I'm learning now that you started the concept with Green Lizard with the containers.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then you said, well, hey, let's do this with the coffee as well, the facilities as well.
Yeah. I thought, why not? There's so many containers on Guam. They were cheap. They were $2,000. Now they're not. Now they're like $8,000. But at that time, they were super cheap. We said, yeah, we can convert that. They're really strong. They handled the typhoons. I know because one of them tipped upside down on my Slingshot side, and we're still using it today. I mean, what is that? 20 years later, still going. So yeah, very robust. So I quite liked that concept. Also liked it because it was really tied in with that reusing. Right. And a lot of these containers get sent off island, and they get put in the scrap yards, and you see them around, they end up rusting out. So I think the sustainability, reusing things, that really went well with our concept to try and keep it all together.
Sure. And I think that was one of the, you know, it was so unique looking that I think people just wanted to see what it was all about. What was this business about, right? And that was my next question was, so you started Slingstone Coffee and Tea. How did it go? I mean, did you get a following right away, or did you have to build the brand?
That was also interesting. So I was thinking about going into beer brewing about 2016. I thought, craft beer is going to be quite good. So I should. So I follow trends. I look at what people are doing, and I thought, okay, this would be quite good. And I went to Saipan, but when I was in Saipan, I met someone that owned Island Girl. They were interested in selling it. I said, I'll buy it. And so my brewing concept went out the window, and I went straight into coffee. And so myself and a partner bought it, and I ran that for about a year. And then and I wanted to introduce the style of drinks that I really like, but they already had a following and a clientele, and it didn't really suit with what I wanted to do. So we decided, okay, I decided to sell it to my partner, and then I would set up Slingstone Coffee. So that was the start of what we wanted to do, because we were looking more at like just really creating a good, strong coffee. I like strong coffee, and that really gets me going in the morning. I get excited with that. So yeah, just really wanted to have that kind of style, and so that's what we ended up working on and created all our other drinks. So we got a little bit of a kickstart, I guess, with that, but Adeloop was our first location. That was the container, opened around Liberation. People didn't know what it was when it opened, but that was okay. People slowly figured it out. We didn't do any advertising. We just found people would just find us because everyone's driving in that area, and they're driving south, they're driving north. Right. So that was how it went, and it was slow. But I knew that it would slowly increase because it's all about just being consistent, showing up every day, doing the right thing, making sure you make it right. We got it wrong many times with customers. We have complaints. That's okay. But you always got to try and figure out how to make it right. So we came up with a slogan, which is make it better. And make it better, it could mean anything. just make it better, make someone's day better, make the coffee better, make our products better. So we started to source from different vendors in the States and the mainland, and we're just trying to find products that make it better. And right now we've just landed about $20,000 worth of green beans on Guam. I've got a coffee roaster on Guam, and our idea now is to make it better by making it fresher. So make it fresher, make it better. Yeah.
Yes, and that's part of your vision and your guiding principles. I was looking that up on your website, and it says to make it better, your coffee, yourselves, and ourselves as a community, I think, right?
That's right, yeah, as a community, definitely.
I love that.
Yeah, and as a neighborhood. And I think when we set up in Adelup, we were thinking this is our Nimitz Hill, our PD, our Navy Hospital, the Anigua. This is for these people. These are the people we will see every day. So let's focus on what we need to do here to make it better for them. And in East Agania, we're looking at the Agania Tumuning crowd that are coming backwards and forwards. So same thing there. So we just really try to focus on neighborhoods. Barragata Heights was a similar concept. And so now we have two more in the process of planning. So one is going to be Agania Shopping Centre, which is that's going to be really exciting working with them. So, and then another one will be Chalanpago, which is Manilau, the Manilau end of Chalanpago. So sort of looking after more of the East Coast as well. So we want to hang out with the East Coast community and the West Coast and the North Side and the South Side.
That's
so
great.
Yeah, so there is a plan going forward for sure.
Oh my goodness, I could just see all of the schools, right? All of the schools in that area stopping by Slingstone Coffee and Tea. Great ideas. And I wanted to just kind of share with you, when you first opened your Anigua location, I remember the turtle. And it said Slingstone, and my husband and I at the time, he's gone now, but he was saying, what is it? I'm like, I'm not sure. It has a turtle on it. So, so I'm going to ask you, what was that? How did you come up with the turtle? And you're selling coffee. I would think like coffee beans,
right,
or something like that.
Yeah,
and
so
or the Slingstone, the Atsua Tupat, right?
Yep, exactly. So that's exactly what it started out with. It was like, we're on an island. I love the water. I love the ocean. My kids are born here. We're at the beach all the time. So let's have a sunset. Let's do the Slingstone sunset or Slingstone sunrise. And so we thought about that. And then let's turn the Slingstone into a coffee bean. And then I was like, yeah, it's okay. And we were going to go with that, and we thought, but it just doesn't have a mascot. We need a mascot. We need someone that we believe in. What do we believe in? What really makes us thrive around the waters? What works here, right? And so then I thought about our friendly turtle friends. I thought, yeah, they're really turtles are great. They're just slow. They plod. They transit. They go backwards and forwards. I'll make a drive-through for those guys if I could. I'll have some algae here. They can drive through, pick up their algae. So yeah, we took that, and then we said, there's the water, there's our Slingstone. We'll put a head, we'll put flippers on, and this is great. And the flippers are actually, if you look closely, no one really knows this. This is my geeking personality. So yeah, the body is a coffee bean, and the arms and legs are tea leaves. So right, so that's why coffee and tea sort of comes into it, right?
Looking at my
yeah, exactly, right there. That's fantastic branding. Too bad podcasts are not visual, but
yes,
next time.
Just for all of our listeners, I am having the Immunity. It's a great coffee. It's a great tea. It's one of my favorites. It's my go-to when I go to Slingstone. So thank you very much, Slingstone, for bringing that over.
yeah.
So,
coffee in the mornings and tea in the afternoon.
There you go. The other question I wanted to ask you was, I know that you've been in business for about 5 years or so in doing the coffee business, right? So what has changed in running your business today than it was when you first started it 5 years ago?
Oh, I think having employees. When we first started, we had 3 employees. It was quite easy and manageable. Now we're up to 20, and soon we're going to go to 30 or 40.
Sure.
And that changes everything. You really have to look after everybody. we like having fun with our employees. We like hanging out together. So when it was a small crew, we can get in there and mix and froth and create, and it was really exciting. As we get bigger, we're afraid we're going to lose that by becoming too corporate. So it was really important, people we hire in our manager positions, that they're also fun and they try to also create that brand. So we've had to teach our managers how to be part of the Make It Better, be part of the Green Turtle, be part of this brand, be part of making it work. So we have to listen to their ideas. I think that's the big change. When we start, it's all my ideas. It's all about me. I got to make it happen. I got to build it. It's got to get done. But then as our team gets bigger, I'm like, wow, it's more about our people, our family, our community's ideas and what they want. And how can we do that? And we listen to our customers' ideas, and we get some great ideas that we put into play. And definitely with employees. So I think I'm working for them rather than they're working for me. I think that's the big change.
Sure. Yeah. Our employees and our customers, they really contribute to the success of all of our small businesses. And without great employees and without loyal customers, where would we be, right? And exactly. I think that the pandemic has put a huge stress on our economy. What were some of the things that you did during the 2.5-year period, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, that that you were able to stay alive and stay in business?
I think our saving grace was drive-through. Did not know this at the time. I just wanted to drive through because I'm working all the time, I'm driving all the time, I'm going from place to place. Guam is a great island to get around. It's the same size as my hometown. And I thought, I just need to stop and get fueled up. My car needs fueling and I need fueling. So that was the idea. But then when the pandemic came, drive-through was the friendliest, was COVID friendly. So a lot of businesses struggled during that time. It was great that we were able to give back. There was a lot of service, police and firemen that were out and about doing extra work. So we were able to give back to them as well.
That's great.
Just make it easier on everybody.
Right. And I know that there's other ways that you give back to the community, in the sense that you reuse the resources, like the coffee that you use. Tell us a little bit about that.
So coffee grinds has got great nitrogen attributes in it. So in your garden, it keeps out snails, it keeps out bugs, it reduces your red ants hate it. So it's perfect. If you don't like being bit by red ants, then that's definitely a go. So people can pick that up for free. We'll just bag it and give it to them, and they can go home, put it in their gardens and grow whatever they need. We use it wherever we can. So thank you everyone for drinking coffee so that we can grow some more plants.
That's great. So all of you gardeners out there, if you heard it from Pedro himself, you're welcome to make arrangements with, how do they do that with your
They just drive through and say, hi guys, how's it going? I'll have a coffee, and by the way, do you have any grinds? And they'll be like, oh, sorry, that guy just took it. Or they'll say, yes, we have a big bag right here, let me grab that. Because we're brewing cold brew coffee like every other day, so the cold brew's getting fresh batches are regularly made. And then the espresso is constantly going as well. So there's always grinds happening. Yep.
There you go.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I think I might take advantage of that as well. So tell me, Pedro, how does your chamber membership benefit your company?
We were talking about that in the beginning before we started. But going to the meetings has been great because the pandemic has shown us, okay, things are difficult. Everyone's got to pivot. Am I the only one doing this? Am I the only one going through this? Is anyone else experiencing what I'm going through? Because this is really, really difficult. And yes, they are. And they're all going through it at different levels. And I think that's the biggest thing, is to understand that we're all in this together. It sounds like a cliche. No, I'm not running for governor. But yes, we are all in this together. And we do have to come up with ways to make that easier on each other. So I think the Chamber's been great. Each time it's like, oh, do I have time? I don't know if I can make it. But when I leave there, I'm always like so glad I took hour and a half out of my day just to do face-to-face with the people that I might talk to on the phone, or maybe I talk to them once a month. but it's just important just to stay in touch with our community, because that's how Guam stays strong. And after Pong Song Wara, I realized that when we got wiped out, the community is what helped me rebuild again. That's what made me believe in Guam. That's what made me believe in making Slingstone Coffee, or Slingstone brand, and then making Slingstone Coffee. So constantly, I really appreciate people that helped me back then. And, you know, we just look forward to helping other people when they go through hard times too. So being part of the chamber, I think, is also giving and not just receiving, right? So
right. I love that.
I see people standing up and sitting on the board, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I'd ever do that, but I think, yeah, there is a time to give, right?
You need to think about that. We could always use your expertise.
Yeah. And you don't have to be on the board. You can be sitting on a subcommittee, and you can be taking care of those sorts of things. So yeah, I really think those are important things to do. It's not a money-making scheme. It's not about money. It's about building community and trust, and developing the resources that we've got, finding better ways to use them.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that. So tell me, what is next on the horizon for Slingstone Coffee and Tea? I know that you mentioned that you've got new locations, 2 new locations that you're going to be standing up in about I don't know how, a year, 6 months?
I think a year out we'll be doing one, and then next year another one. I think the coffee roasting we did talk about, right? So that's going to be nice to come back into that.
Exciting.
So that's where we sort of get to really see it from the beginning to end. And so yeah, that we're excited about that.
Well, thank you. You know what? This has been really fun. And I want to say thank you so much, Pedro. We've learned so much, and we've had such a nice time together.
Yeah, it's been great. I was nervous. Everyone should come and do this. Don't be shy. It's okay. Everyone's got a story to tell. And mine's just a small little story. But I think, Guam's got lots of great stories that should be shared. So yeah, people should come and share them. Yeah.
And that's the reason why we have the spotlight. So we encourage our residents to support our small businesses like Slingstone Coffee and Tea, who make a huge difference in our community. I'd like to thank our listeners for tuning in and listening to today's show. We encourage you to drop us a note to share your comments on this episode, or visit our website or social media platforms. We'd really appreciate your feedback. We look forward to having you back on the Chamber Member Spotlight again soon. If you haven't already heard it, we also have another podcast called The Chamber BizBox, which features issues and challenges that face our business community. They're currently available on YouTube and Spotify, so give it a listen. This is your host, Catherine Castro. Until next time, take good care and make it a great day, Guam.